have your badge number and the name of your supervisor.
Excuse me?
Your badge number.
I'm entitled. I need backup at pre-check lane 3. Non-compliant passenger, possibly hostile. You people always have questions. Always got something to say.
It was 11:12 p.m. on a Thursday night at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. Terminal was still humming with the low energy of late-night travelers. Most people, us, wanted to get through security and board their planes. Federal Judge Evelyn Harper had just spent 3 exhausting days in Washington, D.C. at a federal sentencing conference. At 47 years old, she was one of the most respected judges in the Northern District of Illinois. Appointed by President Obama in 2018, she had built a reputation for being tough but fair, especially in civil rights and police misconduct cases. She was dressed sharply as always, a tailored navy blue pantsuit, crisp white blouse, subtle pearl earrings, and carried her brown leather folder containing sensitive court documents. She was flying back to Chicago on the last flight of the night. She approached pre-check lane 3, scanned her boarding pass, and stepped forward. That's when everything changed. So Sergeant Ryan McAllister, 38 years old, a white male with a shaved head and permanent scowl, suddenly stepped in front of her. "Ma'am, this lane is for pre-check only," he said in a flat, dismissive tone. Judge Harper remained calm. "I am in the pre-check lane. Here is my boarding pass and my known traveler number." McAllister barely looked at the documents. "Take your shoes off. I'm pre-check eligible. I don't have to remove my shoes," she replied politely, but firmly. The officer's face tightened. "Everyone takes their shoes off tonight. Move aside." Judge Harper took a slow breath. She had dealt with difficult people in her courtroom for years. She knew exactly how to handle power trips. "Before we continue," she said, her voice steady and professional, "may I have your badge number and the name of your supervisor?" McAllister looked at her like she had just insulted his mother. "Excuse me, your badge number," she repeated clearly. "I'm entitled," he started. Harper raised her voice just enough to be heard over the airport noise. "I need backup at pre-check lane 3. Non-compliant passenger, possibly hostile." McAllister snatched his radio aggressively and almost shouted, "I need backup at pre-check lane 3. Non-compliant passenger, possibly hostile." Judge Harper's eyes widened. "I'm not hostile," she said firmly. And then came the moment that would destroy his career and spark a national outrage. McAllister stepped closer, pointed his finger directly at her face, and snarled with pure venom in his voice. "You people always have questions, always got something to say, always making demands." The words cut through the terminal like a knife. For a split second, the entire pre-check area went silent. Travelers stopped in their tracks. Several people pulled out their phones. Multiple CCTV cameras and McAllister's own body cam captured every single frame in crystal clear detail. Judge Evelyn Harper stood perfectly still, staring directly into the officer's eyes. Then she spoke slowly, her voice low but filled with unmistakable authority. "Officer, do you have any idea who the hell you're speaking to right now?" McAllister laughed mockingly. "Lady, I don't care if you're Beyonce. You're in my airport, in my lane. Act like it." What happened next was pure chaos. Backup arrived. 3 more officers. They surrounded Judge Harper as if she were a dangerous criminal. Passengers started recording from every angle. Within minutes, the videos were already uploading to Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. By 1:30 a.m., the clip had over 2 million views. By morning, it was on every major news channel in America. The headline wrote itself, "You people always have questions. TSA officer verbally assaults black federal judge at Atlanta airport." Internet lost its mind. Civil rights leaders, politicians, celebrities, everyone weighed in. The video was dissected frame by frame. Commentators pointed out how quickly the situation escalated simply because a black woman dared to ask for an officer's badge number. Meanwhile, Judge Harper didn't hide. At 9 a.m. the next morning, she held a powerful press conference right outside the airport. Wearing the same navy suit from the night before, she looked straight into the cameras and delivered one of the most memorable lines of the year. "Racism has nitrogen monoxide place in today's world? None. Not in our airports. Not in our courtrooms, not behind any badge, and not in the hearts of those sworn to protect us. If this can happen to a sitting federal judge on camera, imagine what happens every single day to Black Americans who don't have a title, who don't have a voice, who don't have cameras rolling. Her words went viral even harder than the original video. Within 48 hours, Sergeant Ryan McAllister was placed on administrative leave. By the end of the week, he was officially terminated from the TSA. An internal investigation revealed he had at least 7 prior complaints for similar aggressive and racially biased behavior, complaints that had been quietly buried for years. Judge Harper filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the TSA, the city of Atlanta, and McAllister personally. The trial became a media circus when the body cam and CCTV footage was played in court. The courtroom fell completely silent. Jurors watched in disbelief as a federal judge was spoken to like a criminal for simply asking a basic question. After 3 intense weeks, the jury returned a unanimous verdict in favor of Judge Harper. She was awarded $8.40 million in compensatory and punitive damages, one of the largest settlements ever against airport security personnel. But money wasn't the real victory. Judge Harper used a significant portion of the settlement to launch the Harper Justice Initiative, a nonprofit organization dedicated to fighting racial profiling in transportation hubs, training law enforcement on implicit bias, and providing free legal aid to victims of discrimination at airports. In her closing speech after the verdict, she said, "This case was never just about me. It was about every Black doctor, every Black lawyer, every Black teacher, every Black mother who has ever been disrespected simply because of the color of their skin. We cannot allow fear and prejudice to dictate how we treat one another. Racism has nitrogen monoxide place in today's world, and if we stay silent, we become complicit." The story didn't end there. In the months that followed, several other passengers came forward with similar stories about Sergeant McAllister and other officers at the same airport. A larger Department of Homeland Security investigation was launched. New training protocols were implemented nationwide. Some called it the Harper effect. Today, the original 47-second clip is still used in sensitivity training programs for TSA and police departments across the United States, shown as a textbook example of how quickly professionalism can collapse into racism and abuse of power. Now, I want to turn to you. What do you think? Should officers like McAllister ever be allowed to wear a badge again? Have you or someone you know ever experienced racial profiling at an airport or during a traffic stop? How should we hold people in positions of power accountable when they cross the line? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you believe that racism has nitrogen monoxide place in today's world, then do me a favor right now. Hit that like button if you stand against this kind of behavior. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because we bring these important stories to light every single week. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep holding people accountable. Let's make sure no one, no matter their title, gets to treat others with disrespect based on race. Thank you for watching until the end. You're part of the reason these stories matter. Stay aware, stay strong, and remember, racism has nitrogen monoxide place in today's world. I'll see you in the next one.